All right, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to the stream. Our 21st Let's Draw. How are you doing today? Hello Nervan, good to see you. Hey Mosk, you're upset that I started beforehand, huh? Anyway, let me introduce the topic to you. So, I was thinking what kind of fun challenge we might have for the stream, and I thought, why not do a one composition challenge? Hey Helicopter, you're also with us. Nice. So the same composition challenge basically means that we take one composition and we try to create, let's say, 3 different illustrations with it. And the cool thing is that it doesn't really have to be, that precise, the shapes. It just needs to be, like something big, round here and something more squarish here, and you need to be able to read the shapes. No, not the poster. But maybe it will inspire someone for a poster. Let's see. So I went ahead and just did the frames for the illustrations, so I don't have to bore you with that. And I drew a horizon line. I might go outside of the bounding boxes, but I think that's also okay. So basically the idea is to take one composition and turn it into 3 different illustrations or sketches. 3 sketches. There we go. So it doesn't have to be, like it could be anything. It could be an illustration of an exterior or interior, or it could be, characters talking, or, go wild. Could be kind of anything. So I will just roughly indicate my round shape here. And my square shape here. And I will do it on the other ones as well, so I don't have to think about it. I don't know if it's a good composition to start off, and I haven't properly done that before, so it might be a stupid idea altogether, but why not try it? What do you say? So I will start with number 1. This one. And since we played a game yesterday with my friends where we were playing the RPG tabletop game, and there was a scene where the mice were building a tavern. That basically was the whole quest. So, and the tavern was in the pumpkin. So I'm thinking, what if this thing is just a pumpkin? Maybe something like this, a little taller. It doesn't have to be this precise form shape, although I think I will try on one of them to keep it like as literal as possible. And that's the beauty of having 3 compositions. You don't have to commit to anything yet. So we had the tavern in the pumpkin here, and then maybe this would be like a crate of some sorts. It should go into a vanishing point somewhere. Maybe this is like a crate of goods that the other mice are bringing for sale, something like that. Just needs to be something square-ish. Maybe there's like a bag of something laying there. Maybe it's the bag of potatoes or carrots. Something like this, and maybe it's like, maybe there is like a hill here. And there is a mouse dragging this thing. Maybe I'll add wheels just so it's easier to drag. So maybe there's a mouse dragging this thing. Something like this. And that we're looking at this kind of valley of plenty, valley of pumpkins. Maybe there's another pumpkin somewhere here with a huge leaf. Something along these lines, maybe. But I will need to make sure that this, like the shapes, are prominent from the composition that I started with. Maybe they're like... Maybe he is actually... I don't know, do mice like carrots? Let's imagine they do. And maybe there is like one huge carrot laying here. Or 2. Something along these lines. Oops. No, come back. Sorry about that, guys. I think my trash can is hitting the side of the camera holder. So we can have something like that. Maybe this thing is even bigger. Yeah, that's going to be too big. Then I think I actually will make it smaller. So because it's in the distance, I want it to look a little further away, I think. And there is like all these green vines everywhere. If this is horizon line though, we probably won't have much more than that. Like, I don't think there is much. Maybe there is like a forest in the distance, but I think that's would be it, kind of. Maybe a little pumpkin somewhere further down. Maybe roots everywhere, something like that. And then maybe I will do the details of the pumpkin, because there should be some windows, or at least some kind of, since it's a mice tavern, so it needs to have the entry point here. And I remember there was also like an outside terrace. That doesn't read like a mouse, but it's a mouse. Which mess did you make, Nervin? By the way, if you're drawing something alongside, you can go to Telegram, t.me/sketchbook, and there is a channel where you can send your stuff to, and I can share it on stream. Huge vines or roots or stuff like that. Maybe there is like a big root on the foreground here. Do pumpkins have these huge roots? That's a question. But since it's a fantasy setting, it could be anything. But generally speaking, this is the this would be my first composition, I think. Nervin says she's making abstract waves with watercolor, which includes blowing them all over the paper. It's everywhere now. Oh well. That's how these watercolor experiments usually go. I shouldn't have put them so close together, because this way I don't have any option to make my composition taller. So I will come back to this with ink later, but for now let's focus on the second one. What could this be? Maybe this is more of like a science fiction setting, and I will try to keep that shape as precise as possible, more or less. Something like that. Maybe this is like a spaceship. Just trying to understand the shape better. So it's like a floating potato. Space tavern. Yeah, something like that. So it definitely will have like an entrance for spaceships somewhere, probably in the lower docks, maybe. maybe something like that. And then with ink, of course, I can make more more detail. Spiral potato house. That's might be a little too much. Don't really want to draw a spiral, but it's a cool idea if you can draw a spiral. So maybe it has some sort of like tubes on the side here. I don't know. I'm kind of just messing around with the form. Yeah, the spiral potato from the markets. I think I know what you mean, but they're probably a pain in the ass to draw. Not sure I want to spend the whole stream drawing a market potato. Maybe something like that. Maybe there are like big gates on the side here. With a lot of like details everywhere. And I think what's like, if you want to add details to the spaceship quick, I think you can just add the separations between like metal plates or whatever they are. And like add little vents everywhere and little propellers sticking out. And drawing a potato on the stick, yeah, is probably a good exercise, this spiral potato. If you draw it like 5 times, you will be the master of spirals. Something like this. And there are people in front of my window talking. I hope you don't hear them much. I don't know, something along these lines. The Spiral Master of Potato Universe. Exactly. Could be a name of a comic book novel. The Spiral Master of Potato Universe. I bet they would have a lot of fans because people are into all kinds of weird stuff these days. So let's add maybe some more like frames here and there, some more like connectors. Maybe there are power cables running across. Maybe this is like a cargo docking station or something. I don't know, I'm just kind of going with the flow, so to say. Just want to try to keep this shape as much as possible. Maybe I should use the close-up cam because it's so tiny. What do you think? Is this any better? Should be a bit should be a bit better. Sorry. And maybe this thing here is another floating ship in space. Maybe the vanishing point is now a little further. Here. Next reflection should be composition, should be a close-up of a scared robot with a reflection of something in his eye. So this is his head. This is his head, or is it his eye? Could be just like a one huge eye and then a little something in front of it. Oh. So in this is the reflection, or is this the silhouette of the thing and then the reflection will be like here? Oh, no, meaning that it's not the eye. Okay. So you mean this is his face? So this is his face, and then he has the eyes, and then something reflects in his eyes. Is that what you what you mean? Oh, the rectangle is his mouth. So this is the eye. This is the mouth. Oh, okay. And so that, like, there will be like his mouth like this, and then second eye. Is that what you mean? Maybe it could be. This composition is a challenge in itself, the one with the close-up. Maybe there's like one little or two little pipes going up here. Trying to come up with a more or less interesting shape for this without really changing it much, because I want to keep it as close to the rectangle as possible as well. Maybe it's carrying some barrels like this or something like that. Alright. How's it going over there, guys? Is iRobot? Yeah, it's a fun movie. I remember I really liked it when I was a kid. After that movie, I really wanted to eat a pie out of like a whole pie with a spoon, because Will Smith character is doing that in one scene, and when I was a kid I thought it's so cool that I really wanted to do it afterwards. And I did eventually, so dreams come true. Okay. Oh, just read the book, no cakes. I don't know. I think I read the book afterwards, but I was a big fan of science fiction anyway, so I most likely, I don't remember if I read it before that or after it, but I'm pretty sure I read the book then. I don't know, just messing with the shape here. Basically, the idea of the movie is that they're creating these robots and making them smarter. They're house robots to help you with everything you need at home. And then artificial intelligence takes over and robots stop listening to human commands and all that stuff. And Will Smith goes and kills kicks the butt. That's roughly the plot of the movie. A second movie from Asimov's Robot Tales. I don't remember. I don't think so. At least I haven't seen it, I think. Okay, so this is a scared robot. And this is his eye. Yeah, so this will be like this spaceship thingy. Maybe there is like another spaceship coming from somewhere there. And maybe there is like a little planet somewhere on the horizon. Maybe there is another little plane here. And another here. Maybe two. Not plane, the spacecraft ships. Kill the butt? Kicks the butt. Kills the butt. Yeah. I know the German name, something like the 2000. Oh, the 2000-year-old man, I think it's called. Is it based on Asimov's stuff? It's an old robot with 200-year-old man. This one looks a little weird, the bottom one. So the idea is that this is the eye, this is the mouth of a robot, and he just sees something really scary. But I don't know how it will work out. All right. What could be so scary for the robots that he's looking at it with this horrified expression? You know how, let's see actually reflections in spheres. Let's do a quick reference search, because we're of course complete professionals here. No, I think it's a fun idea. I just don't know what to draw in his eye. Reflection in sphere. So if we look here, I'm just trying to understand how everything goes. So basically it gets more round to the side, and gets more straight and perpendicular in around the middle. So for this it will be like this. And gets more closer to the sides. It gets more round when it's closer to the sides. That's what I wanted to say. Alright, something like this, but what could it be? What is a robot afraid of? Maybe there is like a plug? Like a huge plug, and he found it, and it means that he's not plugged. So he's not charging. Sounds dumb, but kind of makes sense, right? This statement is false. I think Vlad is with us. Hey, Celestia. Haven't seen you here in a while. We're doing one composition, 3 sketches challenge. Or I don't know, at least I'm doing. Hey, you should come over more often. Doing UX, that's great, I guess. You have studied it and now you're doing it. That makes sense. Congratulations then. Alright, so I think I will add these little details later, because they don't make much sense now. Alright. So I think let's switch to this thing back. Yeah. Basically this idea is this taking this composition and trying to do 3 different things with it. So let's see what we can do with ink. Do we need this close-up cam? Is anyone enjoying the the close-up cam, or should we just get rid of it? All right, let's start with this mess. It looks like an illustration for Neznайка. Could be. It's an illustration for a game we played recently about mice who are building a tavern in the pumpkin. I will start with the front, I think, because it will make it easier to go further without overlapping everything. So let's just start with these, with this card here. Alright, something like that, maybe. At least you can see it easier on the camera. Okay, I think here was like a big bag of something. I think, and then this was a carrot. To make it more carrot-like, let's add these little things that carrots have, the eyes. What's the English name for it? I think now it looks like a carrot, right? No, I think I will maybe add some texture straight away, because it's such a quick sketch altogether. I don't think it's gonna hurt to add some texture here and there. Shouldn't overdo it though. Maybe here, like cans with something. Maybe it's elk milk or deer milk. Could be. What mice can milk? Other mice? It's disgusting. Goats? Birds? Don't know. Now the tough part. I want to draw this character in front of it, but I will first do it with pencil, I think. So he's looking straight at this thing with his ears like that, maybe. And he's standing right in front of the card and holding it by like this handle. Yeah, I think I have an idea now. I mean, it's a sketch, so it will be messy, but that doesn't matter right now. Let's add him like a cloak. Let's give him a cloak. It looks quite weird, I must say. It looks. Let's not discuss this thing, okay? Let's get straight to this. Maybe the house or something. So this pumpkin, it was covered to the middle with clay. So it was kind of like maybe like this. So there will be like this, one of these vines maybe sticking out and then going back in. Just trying to think about this shape, how to make it more interesting. Maybe something like that, don't know. Maybe that doesn't make much sense. There is like an outside sitting area. There is that hole. Maybe there is like a little stepping stone in front of it, so it's easier to get in. There was supposed to be a skull on the front, but I don't really have space for it, so I will just put a little piece of wood there with the engraving of the name of the tavern, which unfortunately I don't know. So there will be a window of some sorts. There is like little stones here and there. Maybe there is like a little narrow bench and a table. Doesn't have to be precise because it's such a small sketch. It's a proper cute mouse, you say? Thank you. It's really kind of you. So maybe there's like a little dry. It's kind of like an old pumpkin, so it doesn't have to be very accurate or pretty. And on top we kind of had these very intricate windows. something like this, don't know. Breathing holes everywhere. So this is a tavern and an inn, basically. There is like, you can get some food there and you can get some, like a bed. Maybe we do it like this. I don't know. Just making stuff up kind of on the go. Maybe there is like a smashed pumpkin there. And there's these other like fields going to the horizon. And there's some bushes starting. And some forest in the distance. Maybe there is just this huge leaf here. I don't know if it's a pumpkin leaf. Maybe I should have researched pumpkins before drawing this. Maybe there's this forest continues there. Something like this. Maybe there is even a door somewhere. I don't know why I'm doing that. Okay, so it's supposed to be a pumpkin, not a pear, but it looks a bit. It's a pear pumpkin. That's the thing, right? I bet it exists somewhere. So this is our first sketch, I think. I'm just trying to highlight the shape that we started with. All right, this is number 1. I think I will remove the pencil marks from here now. All right. So we can get to the second one, but before we do, let's have a short 3-minute break and I'll be back in a second. And welcome back. Alright. Okay, so we have composition number 1 with the pumpkin and the crate. Maybe I'll make this little guy a little bit more prominent because he's kind of lost. Okay, something like that. Yeah, and the forest goes that way. You know, maybe this is like, these are hills. That's what I wanted to show. Alright, now for our second composition here, we have a space something. Space egg, I guess. And let's just try to add details without doing too much. How is it going on your side, guys? Are you drawing the same? How are messes, Nervin? How is everything? Messy messes. Schmidelicopter, you usually draw something alongside the stream. Anything specific this time? Drying process takes forever. Yeah, if you're doing watercolors, maybe it's a good idea to get a hair dryer. I saw a lot of people use it. I personally never use it myself. Not out of a principle or something, but kind of just because I don't know, I never really needed. I think I'm using not so much water anyway. I'm not really doing wet on wet. Alessia doesn't feel well today, so we're sitting with her now, but she's asleep and I'm going to draw something with pastels. Great, I hope Alessia feels better soon. Poor kid. Hairdryer is loud, but it gets the thing done. You're not holding it for that long. That's the thing. I wonder what will you draw with pastels, Schmidelicopter? Is it gonna be something with this composition? Or you didn't like the topic that much? You can be open here. Yeah, if you didn't like the topic or if you have other suggestions for topics, I can only direct you back to our Telegram channel where you can write your suggestions and share your progress and whatnot. Trying to keep the shape, but also make it a little bit of a, like it, roughly it's a silhouette of an egg, right? But from a little closer you can see that it has all these little dents and things sticking out of it, kind of. And that's what I'm trying to achieve, I guess. The feeling of something complicated rather than it actually being complicated. Oh, I was asking if you're gonna do this composition with the pastels or if you have something completely different in mind. I bet on YouTube these streams, even though I upload them, they probably don't make much sense because people don't see the chat there. Something along these lines, maybe. I don't know what I'm doing. Just adding random details. Maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe I'm done with this one. Just add some more texture on these pipes. And that's it. I know that some of these things are not really on the form, but oh well. Hey Citrix97, I'm alright. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. We're doing one composition challenge. The rules, if there are any, are kind of simple. We have a composition, which is basically this round blob and this rectangular blob in front or on the right bottom and the horizon line. And then taking this composition, we're trying to do 3 different things. So the things that you do with it kind of are up to you. In my case, it turned out to be like a fantasy exterior of a mouse going into the Pumpkin Tavern. Makes sense, obviously. The second one is more like a sci-fi outside view, exterior shot, you know, with like a egg space station and some stuff flying around. And then finally, this probably will be like a close-up of a robot face. You can see his second eye here roughly, with the reflection of a plug being unplugged. This crazy idea came from Schmelicopter, but it's kind of cool. Yeah, I don't think it's surrealism, but more like just a portrait of a robot. Maybe. Yeah, if I could animate it, I would make it so that you know, the reflections in his eyes are flashing from the Terminator, like Musk suggested. And here again, I'm just randomly putting shapes just to add some complexity. Yeah, I know what you mean, Musk. Hey, thanks. Are you gonna join us in this drawing exercise? Let's do something like this. Maybe like one pipe, two pipes. Yeah, let's do another vent here. These windows have some sort of protection from little debris in space. Trying to get back into drawing. Used to be my passion a couple of years ago. Passion, trying to get myself back into it again. It's back to basics. That's great. I mean, sorry to hear about your depression block. But I think the key is just to find the medium that you like drawing with and find a topic that you like. You know, what inspires you. For me, for instance, it's... Oops. That's not a straight line for me. For me, it's usually landscapes and interiors, houses, usually fantasy houses, and my favorite medium is probably just like pencil and ink and maybe watercolor. So when I like I always was trying to just like draw different or try to draw something cool or learn how to draw. But you know, like if you already know that you like soft graphite and drawing animals, that's a huge step. Like as long as you enjoy it, it doesn't matter kind of the outcome, and the more time you put into it, the better you will get. So just a matter of continuing doing that. And that shouldn't be too hard if it's something that you enjoy. I mean, stuff is hard sometimes, of course, but expand on still life in different mediums. Yeah, still life is also pretty cool. Like you can draw really unexpected objects. I used to do this Street Sketch Saturday when it wasn't still lives, but the idea was to on Saturday to go out and just draw something live, kind of not alive, but you know, draw something on the street, because it feels like it's a different skill than what you're using when you're drawing from your head. Most of the times I personally just draw from my head. So there's that. Yeah, if you guys want to share some of your work or something like that, feel free to send it either to our Telegram channel, or you can send it to me on Instagram. Maybe I will share it with my subscribers, especially if it's something drawn during the stream. I usually look up the hashtag psketchbookstream, as you can see here on Instagram, and that's kind of the way to find everything that was drawn on the stream. So there is a plug in the robot's eye. But there should be like a light bubble or something. If it's a robot, it should have aperture, I think, on the eye. So maybe it's like this. And don't know what I'm doing. That looks dangerously close to a swastika for streaming. Okay, I think let's just go for it. Alright, that is kind of like an aperture, I guess. little screws holding everything in place. And now this robot mouth. If that's what it is. I actually, while drawing with ink, I highly recommend, with graphite, I really recommend using ink or like one color, you know, alkaline brush pen or something like that, or ink like this, to just separate the results from the whiteness of the page, especially if you're using just the white page, like white paper, not toned one. This can really help to like bring in the focus in the right place. It seems like today we'll have a little bit of a shorter stream because we're kind of done with everything. Alright, I think I will actually use one of these inks to separate the objects a little bit better. So the gray will be, I think, for this close-up thing, and this sepia kind of will be for the furthest one. The only problem with this brush pen is that it's leaking. It's not really leaking, but if you're not careful enough, it will drip. Maybe it's an old rusty space station. Something like this. I can theoretically do a second pass with this ink pen thingy, because it does stack a little bit, but not too much actually. You can't do too many layers with it. But when you're doing that, if you're using a lot of graphite, I guess if you're using soft graphite pencil, then you're using a lot probably. The problem is that it can smudge it around and make it look dirty. And with the ink pen, make sure you're using non-water soluble ink. Like this Tombow pen that I have. Not sponsored, by the way. Unfortunately, but maybe one day. This is seriously my favorite pen. I'm doing everything with it. You can see that like I can do a little bit of second layering here, but it's like not ideal really. When it dries, you won't be able to see much of it. So. And also the robot eye. really like the color of this ink. That's why I use it so much. I have two other ones, but just because the colors are so bright, I kind of just abandon them. I think this, the iris should be black, right? All right, let's do the gray part, and let's see, maybe I'll make it darker. And these Ecoline markers are also really good. I have a few colors which again I'm not using except of this gray one, but it's really like you can't do many layers usually because the paper doesn't like it that much, but you can do just like one solid pass and separate it from the whiteness of the paper really well. As you can see here, like this object becomes like stops being just drawing on a flat page and kind of pops out a little bit. I smudged a little bit here, but oh well. I think that would be the foreground. Maybe with the guy. Here, as you can see in the first one, I went a little bit further away from the original composition, but all in all, I think we're kind of done. Maybe I'll make this brown as well. It will be darker on top if the light is coming from the top, because I'm thinking about this shape being concave. Yeah, I can't really layer it more than twice, unless you really like drip some ink. But I think, despite being quite a short stream today, we managed to do 3 different compositions, or rather 1 composition, 3 different sketches. And I think we will wrap it up here earlier today, just to not drag it more than necessary. And remember, if you drew something during the stream, doesn't matter if it's the same task or a different one, feel free to share it on Instagram with hashtag psketchbookstream, just so everybody can find other works and, you know, share art and all that good stuff. And other than that, I probably will stream next week, as usual, on Sunday at 10 a.m. Central European Time. Look out for the announcements on Instagram and Telegram, and I hope you have a good day. And I hope you have a great week, and I see you all next time. Bye bye, everybody.